Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's topic I think is very timely because it's November 1st. I am north of Toronto in Canada. It is freezing. Winter is definitely coming. It's freezing outside. Temperature's definitely changing. The weather is changing. Fall is going to be winter soon. And also, the clocks are going back this weekend. So, pardon the pun, but I thought it would be timely to talk about something that a lot of people struggle with, and that is S.A.D, which is also an acronym for seasonal affective disorder, which is a depression that happens to a lot of people starting at this time of year. Or if they currently have depression issues, those issues actually get worse. And that is due to a lot of things. It's our body clocks change because the clocks actually go back, and it does, even though it's an hour, it does affect our body rhythms and what our bodies are used to. We are not going to have as much sunlight, obviously, because the weather is changing. And we all know that sunlight is so important. The sun is so important for vitamin D, which affects our health and which affects our moods. So there's going to be less sun. And also all these weather changes, climate changes, and time changes affect our production of serotonin and melatonin. So serotonin is the feel-good hormone that we know about that's important to stabilize our moods and keep us in a good, productive mood. So when we don't have serotonin, we feel depressed, we feel sad, we feel brain fog, we feel tired, we feel, some people feel worthless, some people just spiral into even more of a depressive state than what they are normally struggling with. So it's important to talk about. Melatonin is also decreased. Melatonin is something that our bodies normally naturally produce when we're sleeping, sometime anywhere between like 2 a.m. and maybe 6 a.m. For some people, it's between 3 and 5. It varies on the person and the situation. But during this time of year, melatonin production is also reduced. Now, this is really important as well because if we don't produce melatonin, we are going to be tired. We are not going to be sleeping well. We are going to feel awful effects from that as well. So all of these things go hand in hand. So this video is just going to be giving you some tips of what you can do to alleviate this happening if you are someone who is affected by this. I know I am affected by this. I tend to want to sleep a lot more. I've been known to sleep 12-hour days if I can. So it's important to make sure, number one, that your nutrition is really good. And by that, I mean eating lots of vegetables, lots of green leafy vegetables, lots of a colorful diet. Make sure your plate has lots of color in it. That's usually when you know you're doing it right. You want to make sure you're getting all your nutrients right now that are really important, and also supporting the immune system, because when we kind of feel like crap, we're not really taking care of ourselves. We're very susceptible to get sick. We're susceptible. This is like the cold season, as everybody knows. So nutrition is so important now more than ever. So make sure that you're eating a good, clean, wholesome, colorful diet at this time of the year especially. Another thing that happens with nutrition this time of year, we tend to crave those comfort foods. A lot of people will increase the amounts of carbohydrates that they eat, and this can be detrimental to a lot of people for their health, for weight. If you're trying to lose weight, it's not the greatest thing. And also, if you have any health issues or blood sugar issues, this could also cause a lot of problems. So just be cognizant of your what types of carbohydrates you're eating. I did a video on this. You can search for it below and you will find it. It's very helpful. So it's more important than ever to have a lot of great nutrition right now and be eating a lot of wholesome foods. Another thing is you want to make sure that you're maintaining a good, adequate amount of water. What happens is people uptake their amounts of water in the summertime because, you're replenishing sweat, or it's hot. So it's easy to drink water in the summer, but it's still important to maintain that water all year round. So it's tougher to do it at this time of year. We don't think about it as much, but it's just as important. And water is important for, making sure that we're not constipated. Water helps when you're tired. It gives you some energy. Water is so important. Our bodies are 70% water. So just make sure you're keeping that level of water maintained throughout this crucial time. So another thing that happens is that with S.A.D, there are certain things that trigger it and make it worse, and certain things that happen that we lose our connection with people, we lose our connection with emotions, we lose our connection with goals that we have. And I talked about this a little bit today on my Nutrilicious page, and it's so important to maintain a sense of connection, and also one with nature, to have a connection with nature, which is tough again to do this time of year because we're not typically going for longer walks at this time of year because it's cold outside. But try to find a way to still have, even if it's 10, 15 minutes, bundle up and go out there and get a walk. Take in some nature, go to a park with your dog, or take the kids to the park. Just bundle up, but make sure that you are getting your taste of nature. Maybe perhaps go to the woods, whatever it is that you like to do. It's obviously going to be not as long as you would when the weather's nice, but it's important to maintain that connection to nature. It's important to maintain a connection to people now. So it's another thing that happens when you have S.A.D is you want to withdraw. You want to withdraw from events. You want to withdraw from friends. You want to withdraw perhaps from family. It is the instinct that we have, like to just coil up and just not be around people. And that is understandable, and everybody is entitled to do that for as much as they feel they need to do it. But as long as you recognize that it is important to have these connections and not completely lose them, because it's important to have support during these next months coming up. And that connection is so important to well-being and to health that I cannot stress it enough. So in any amounts that you can get it that are comfortable for you, maintain those connections and those relationships and the connection to nature. So what's often mistaken as a connection is like social media. So I am going to talk about this because the ironic thing about social media is that we are, as a society and as human beings, we are more disconnected from each other than we ever have been before. This is the most antisocial time that there has ever been, and I attest that to social media. So there are great things about social media. I mean, I'm doing this through social media. So there's great things through social media. We can learn things. We can educate ourselves on things. We can be entertained. But we do need to occasionally take a break from social media, because there are a lot of political arguments on social media. There's a lot of, maybe distasteful things that you may not like, or conversations that you see. I see a lot of bullying online. I've talked about this before in depth. So it's important to take a break from social media in that regards. As I always say, unless you're being educated on something or being entertained and it's making you laugh and making you joyful, then go for it. But if it's not, take a break, take a step back. You don't need to explain it to anybody. I see people do it all the time. You don't even have to announce it. Just take a break, and it'll do your well-being so much good. So another thing you want to be very sure to do over the next few months is to make sure you're taking a vitamin D supplement, because, as I said, the sun is not shining currently in Toronto, in Canada, north of, even in many parts of the States. I'm not sure where you're watching this from, but if it's not sunny where you are and the weather is turning colder or it is cold, make sure you're taking a vitamin D supplement. Take that supplement daily. Normally we require just 10 or 15 minutes of the sun, as we normally, the body will absorb vitamin D through our body from the sun. But because it's not possible the next couple months, it's really crucial to I take a vitamin D supplement regardless of what the season is. So if you're not taking one, please make sure that you're taking one. Another very good supportive supplement at this time and all times are fish oils. I take a liquid fish oil that is called Nutri-C. It's a liquid oil that absorbs better in the body. This is important for our brains. So our brains are 60 to 65% fat, and it's important to support our brains and, to make sure that our brains are healthy. And it also helps with our moods, and our brains also regulate, how we're feeling. quite often. So we need to ensure that we are taking care of our brains right now. So the other thing I wanted to talk about as well as some of these supplements is that sleep is so important too. So also important, and I need to remind myself of this sometimes, that we can't also get as unhealthy as it is not to get to get very little sleep, excuse me, it is just as unhealthy to sleep too much. And that is the tendency that we want to do with S.A.D, especially over these next couple months. So make sure you get a good night's sleep, but depending what that is for you. For some people, it's 6 hours. For some people, it's 9 hours, like on a regular basis. And whatever that good sleep that you normally have in the summertime, try to maintain that now. Don't try to sleep more than you have normally been sleeping or even less, because it is also detrimental to your health, well-being, your mood, and crucial for S.A.D to make sure we're getting the appropriate amount of sleep. So if you feel that this is something that you struggle with, or you know anyone who is struggling with it, there is absolutely no shame in talking about it or talking to your doctor about it. There might be something they can do or suggest to help. And I just wanted everyone to be aware that this is the time that we need to be prepared if you know it's something that you struggle from. And I think most people over these next few months tend to feel the effects of the weather changes and the climate changes, and even that 1 hour time difference, believe it or not, has an effect on us. So eat healthy, drink your water, take your supplements, move your body, get outside, or even, if you're joining a gym, go on the treadmill, but make sure you're connected at some point to nature. Find that connection to nature. Watch your social media usage and note how it makes you feel. And if it's something that brings you joy, then go for it. But if not, take a break, take a step back. Talk to someone if you need to. I hope this was helpful. And I'm probably forgetting a bunch of stuff, but I just wanted to talk about this because it's really important. Okay, so be well, have fun, turn the clocks back, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.